everybody, welcome back to Aces Fuel Injection Behind the Product. So, I didn't want to ignore some of the smaller products we have, and I figured I'd just bring up the High Roller Classic and talk a little bit about it. This is meant to be more of a conversion for our competitor systems, but getting it price appropriate for everybody. So it's just the meat and potatoes, to strip down exactly what you need to make bigger spark in a smaller system. Like if you're pairing it with the Killshot Classic, for instance, but you want a higher energy spark, or you want this to do a little bit of the timing retard and all that stuff and handle the ignition strategy, whereas the Classic doesn't really have timing control. You can still utilize this and how it functions with that kind of system, or a bigger system if you want to. But the Killshot Classic, it's removed all the extras, so like the different input wires and all that, but it still has all the normal meat and potatoes of what we need, and it gives us a better price. But wiring diagram still on the back, just like our other high roller products. It's still in a nice cast aluminum case, so it does heat really well. It has a coil, so this thing right here, it'll output about 150 millijoules of spark energy, and the harness is a lot lighter. It doesn't come with all the extras. So with the harness, let's talk about the harness for a second. It's got the CAN cable. So if you're plugging it in, like if you're adding onto your system and you still want to plug it into the handheld, say you're going to set up a timing curve with this thing, so you can still do that. Not a problem. You can use the handheld you already got. Real easy. Let's get this unraveled here. Still got the coil connector. It's got some big, extra thick, heavy gauge wires to the battery. Already got some ring terminals on it too. We kind of did that. It's just easier for everybody. And these little fork connectors as well. So it's got your normal tack output wire, your point wire. And what's the orange one do? Oh, it's your switch 12 volt. We've made it bigger for the filtering. And we seem to have changed the color a little bit. So it's actually more pleasing of a color. So that's it. I mean, it's really stripped down. Plug in your magnetic distributor, plug in your coil, positive, negative. You just got 3 wires to choose from, whether you're having your system trigger the box or you're outputting a tack signal to your system. It's super basic. I like it. Well, that's why we call it the Classic, right? Because why not? Why add all the extra stuff people don't want? Just give them a good price, give them exactly what they desire, and then send it. So hopefully you enjoy these product reviews. We're going to be actually doing an install on my personal project that already has a Killshot Classic on there, and I'll show kind of the ins and outs of what's going on with it. The only difference is I'll be using a distributor with this system because I'm using the factory HEI, so I am going to use a distributor and showing the couple different combinations of how you can utilize that with this box and our Killshot Classic and make it work really, really well together. And I look forward to explaining how it all works, because I know we don't have all the information out about these. I just haven't done it yet. So we'll get into that here soon. So as we can see here on the back of the High Roller Classic, we laser etched a wiring diagram on there. So no need to put a bunch of paperwork in there. And we're going to have instructions on the website for, different configurations of how you can wire it up, depending on what system you're using or what combination, or whether you're doing ACES stuff or somebody else's stuff and how it plays into that. But right here, this is your standard issue diagram. It just shows the coil, how the distributor hook up, and then what all the wires do over here. But we'll explain the wires. I'm glad you're here already. So right here, we got the main connector. Plugs into the high roller, not a big deal. We got the CAN connection. So if we're setting up something custom in there and not just using it to drive a coil, like dumbfire it, then you can plug in your handheld that's already existing with your system and make it work quite nice. It's just a matter of like menu selection in there, not a massive deal by any means. So then we get to the next shortest one. Here's the VR wire. Now we included a VR extension cable, depending on where you're wiring this thing at and how much lead you need. We threw an extra about a half a meter in there, not a big deal. So this is just your normal standard issue square magnetic plug. We got the coil connection, plugs into your coil right here like that. No worries. It stays in there pretty good because normally you need assistance getting that thing apart, but that's you'll see what I'm talking about when you put one in. The positive and negative, big old extra fat wires. We actually upgraded the size of the wires as compared to the first version of this, or the larger version of this. So went ahead and put ring terminals on there for people because it's for the people. Okay, so Positive and negative directly to the battery. We got the coil connector. We got the VR wire. This goes off to the distributor. That's all good. We get over here to these loose wires. Switch 12 volt, not a problem. You just need to have a nice clean switch 12 volt source. It doesn't take much amperage to power this up, even though it is a substantial wire. That's just there. So clean 12 volt switch source. Actually, if you're getting rid of your old distributor, you can use the positive coil connector as long as it's not like a dirty voltage and hooked into a bunch of other stuff. The let's see here, we got the TAC output. So if you're sending a TAC signal to another system, it doesn't even have to be our signal, but this is outputting a square 12 volt wave. So if you're hooking it to your factory TAC aftermarket thing, your kill shot system or what have you not, this is going to be your TAC output. This right here is your points wire. This is a ground trigger, so you know when this jumps off the ground, fires a coil as it goes. So if you're using this in a timing control function, driving this to dumbfire this with like our kill shot, then that's how that's point up. This is a points break wire ground trigger, so not too bad. We just we had a lot of customers that they wanted the functionality of it, but they didn't want all of the functionality. So there's a group of customers that don't need the input rev limiters and this, that, and the other, and all those. I mean, you can still do the rev limiter through the mechanical setup right here, but all the way around the block, a lot of people wasn't utilizing the extra 3 wires. So we went and stripped that out, changed a few things, and made it more cost effective for the end user. And that's just because we was asked to do it. We didn't, we weren't trying to flood the market with stuff. It's like, we could do this at an appropriate price, and why not? So it's a very simple process. Just a couple wires, couple connectors, a couple more wires, and you're pretty well set. If you want to do a more complex setup with it, you can do a little bit more complex with it. But yeah, I mean, why not, right? So our next task, we're going to be installing one of these, probably on my personal vehicle and put some miles on there. But I'd just love to share the install with you. Thank you.